So we're going to go ahead and get started. And first off, just want to thank everybody for joining. I'm Jeff Downing. I am the Senior Director of Product at ScholarRx, where our mission is to build a healthier world through accessible and sustainable medical education. So we have a digital learning platform that's committed to transforming health professions education on a global scale, and it's really kind of designed to empower learners and educators. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about this system, which we call RX Bricks, and kind of help you understand why our bricks are named that, kind of like Legos, with each brick sort of being like its own discrete digital learning experience. And we'll talk a little bit about what we, what our vision looks like. I mean, for us, we are deeply committed to the principles of open education, and definitely see this as a cornerstone for democratizing access to medical knowledge and fostering more equitable learning environments. So, we're proud to be, members, a member of OE Global, and to support initiatives like OE Week. So, because we definitely want to be able to promote OER content and practices, within the medical community and beyond. So with that, that's a little bit about me. I am joined today by Mustafa Hushyar. Mustafa, would you like to introduce yourself? I know you may be
Hello,
traveling.
everyone. Yeah, hello, everyone. So I'm Mustafa. I'm the marketing manager for Medical Student Alliance for Global Education, MeSAGE. So MeSAGE is providing open access medical curriculums in fields that are not usually covered by traditional medical education, and we will be talking more about that. And we are also partnering with around 11 medical student organizations who help us in developing these open access curriculum and educational content. And we will be discussing in more today on how MeSAGE leverages the Brick Exchange and the Brick Create platform to help students create their own educational content and share it with everyone else.
Excellent. Thank you, Mustafa. So what I want to do first, I know we'll have more people most likely joining over the course of today's hour, but I'm going to launch a poll. Just want to get a sense of who you are. Are you an educator, a student? Maybe you're an instructional designer. Are you just a OER advocate or other? Let us know there by answering the poll question. Always good to learn a little bit about who's with us today. Okay, looks like almost all of you have voted, so let's go ahead and close the poll. And I'll share the results here. So looks like we've got a see, I've got mute yourself if you're not talking. But so got a couple of med students or health professions, or sorry, educators with us. About 3 students, got an OER advocate, and 1 other. So let us know in the question box or the chat if you want to let us know what other represents. But thank you for being here, everyone. So just I want to just start by just kind of laying a little of the groundwork. Librarian, natural. That's great. And a lot of librarians are OE advocates, so that's great. So at ScholarRx, we follow the African proverb of if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And it's really behind our mission here, as I said, is to build a healthier world through accessible and sustainable health education for all. And this is in line with the Sustainable Development Goals laid out by the UN. And for us, the question, and it's really a question that I think we look to answer and re-answer with each Open Education Week, right? Is like helping to understand the case behind sharing. And I think there's obviously a lot of important reasons noble aspirations that kind of go behind it. But for us, we were really kind of thinking about it in terms of a particular realm of education and medical education, and really kind of expanding into health professions education. And what we found is that a lot of educators spend a lot of time uh, uh, reinventing the wheel, building out information, or building out content or modules or PowerPoints or PDFs, you name it, that are really, just for their school, or just for, the class that they create. And so, we find that, medical education often occurs in silos, that we don't have a lot of collaboration among schools or among organizations that are typically aligned on the goals of what they're trying to achieve. And this certainly leads to different inefficiencies, but it's something that definitely jumped out during the pandemic. So starting, gosh, it was probably like 2018. We really we proposed this idea of a global shared curricular ecosystem. Something that is based on core competencies, on the needs that are aligned to accreditation. And this is particularly important for medical schools, but this is, within higher ed in general. And something that also adheres to the best principles of learning design. And the benefits, as we saw them, were manifold. You've got democratizing access to quality education, and again, we've got Mustafa will talk a little bit about the work that he does with the Medical Student Alliance for Global Education, which represents 1.4 million med students around the world. But what we see is that there is a lot of needs, not only in terms of topics, but just in terms of access. So a shared system could help schools, educators, and students in LMICs and areas that are underserved. Also helps promote interprofessional education. It's not just about helping prepare, physicians, or preparing physicians in a silo, but to also kind of think about it in terms of, the nurses, the nursing students, the health profession students, the dental students, right? The occupational therapists. Really kind of helping think about it in terms of the way that professionals have to collaborate. In the in the clinical setting. There's obviously a shortage of healthcare professionals. There's been a nursing shortage for quite a while. There's a physician shortage. So again, there's a wave, a rising generation of students who would like to help be a part of the solution here. So again, having this kind of global curricular ecosystem helps with that. It also helps decentralize teaching and learning, right? Because there's lots of different ways in which students are preparing, and it doesn't necessarily rest solely on the shoulders of of a particular instructor. So I think most people here probably understand OER, and kind of why we're part of this. The OER kind of went kind of following the 5 R's, and in health education, one of the big spurs here was really on shareable medical education and free open access medical education. So you see, FOMED is one of those. It's a topic, hashtag on Twitter. It's a topic that is of particular interest amongst educators, students, and librarians. So what we're going to do today is we're going to show a little bit of our brick system, and we're really going to focus on the exchange, but also a significant element of this is our open authoring system, our open authoring platform called Bricks Create. So we will talk a little bit about that as well. And all of these, the things that we'll be showing are are free and accessible, and we'll make sure that we include links so that you can see it as well. At its heart, our RxBricks library has over 800. Right now, it's like I think somewhere around 850 bricks that cover the preclinical side of the med school experience. We're actually currently building clinical bricks for students, going into the clerkships, going into clinical rotations. All of our bricks are, they're modular, which means that we cover specific topics. Whoops, I think my PowerPoint is on automatic here. But uh, they cover specific topics that can typically be covered by students in 20 to 30 minutes. So as opposed to a textbook chapter, which might take you 3 or 4 hours to get through, we really work towards making these learning experiences concise and digestible, and connected to very specific learning objectives, and we'll show a little bit about that. But they're interconnectable, and they're fully customizable, and the authoring and editing elements are integrated. So now, of these, not all of our bricks are free and open, but we have right now about 230 of them are free and open. And then we'll talk about the exchange in which educators and experts are building bricks, under the Creative Commons license. So the key things for us, really kind of revolve around the pedagogical elements. We really want those specific teaching moments that are help kind of serve the mission of what educators are looking to do. So we have active learning questions throughout. We sometimes we use mnemonics. We don't use those as often, but we do have like clinical correlations. Obviously, charts and images. Video can be incorporated, and we're actually building in some new aspects, including AI. So we'll show that as well. Okay, so with that, I am going to pause the PowerPoint, and then I'm going to open up the exchange. Okay. Okay, so here is what the exchange looks like. Mustafa can put a link to it here in the chat just so you can get to it. But here, folks can come in and look at all of the bricks that we've laid out. Again, we have a lot of this is structured for medical and health professions education. So you can see that, we've got collections on biostats, cardiovascular system, and, endocrine. And then we also have collections that Mustafa will talk about from the Medical Student Alliance for Global Education. So in terms of all of our open access bricks, we've got, as I said, about 230 of them. That includes all of our microbiology bricks and all of our biochem bricks, basically the cellular and molecular biology. So what I first want to do is just give you a quick sense of what a brick looks like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with one of our open access bricks on anatomy of the heart. You'll see that if you want, you can actually just come in and just listen to the brick. We've got audio versions that students can listen to, whether on their computer, or we have a mobile app as well. But again, we've got the key elements within every brick include learning objectives. And typically it's, we're looking at, 3 to 6 learning objectives in each brick. We find that, if we go beyond that, our instructional design team says, you know what, maybe you're trying to do too much in this brick, and it would make sense to split it up. So many of our bricks will start with our case connections, and students particularly respond to realistic scenarios. How would I apply this knowledge on the floor? How would I apply this with patients? So typically with our case connections, we provide that scenario to start things up, to kind of lay out a particular situation or a case, and then we come back to it at the end of the brick. And then as the student goes through here, you'll see that we'll kind of interleave text and images. We'll have active learning questions. Sometimes we'll put in little interactive flashcards. And the idea here is that we never really want the student to go very far within the brick without kind of asking them to think about what it is that they've that they've just read. We really want them to be thinking about this in terms of how would this relate to what I'm going to be doing as a future physician or as a future health professional. So you can see we've got clinical correlation boxes. We also have some new boxes that I'll share here when we actually go into the system, and we also have some images that are in this one. We don't have any that have some of the labeling, but we do have some labeling activities and interactive images that the student can check out. If you see a question or a term or something that you're not familiar with, you can roll over this little underscored term box, and you can get a quick definition. You can also see how how this topic, or in this case anatomical feature, is covered in other bricks. Okay, and then here at the end of this brick, we go back to the case connection, and we ask the student to kind of think about, hey, what did you learn here, and how would you help either solve a particular case or answer the questions that we started with. At the end of every brick, we have summary points. Again, the key elements there within the bricks are, hey, I want to be able to learn. I want to be able to review what I've learned, and then we also want to give you a chance to assess what you've learned. So the student can come in here, and then they can answer questions. Looks like I haven't answered this question. So when a student comes in, they would say, okay, well, which valve separates the right atrium from the right ventricle? And I could say, is it the aortic valve? No, it's not. And so I would keep answering until I got to the right question or the right answer, which is tricuspid valve. And then we provide an explanation as to why that is. That's correct. So that's the heart of every brick. And then we'll have references. We give the student a chance to reflect on the learning objectives. And this is this is a metacognitive piece, but we want the student to answer this for their own good. Hey, can I explain the basic functional anatomy of the heart valves? And can I describe the location and position of the heart within the body cavity? Because if I can't, then I can go back and focus on that piece of the brick. So those are the key elements here within the exchange. So that's part of what we, what a brick looks like. Earlier this week, we did a session on advancing planetary health through open education. So we talked about our planetary health collection. But what I want to do right now is, also please go to the chat if you've got questions. We want to make sure that we're responsive here. So what I want to do, actually, first, Mustafa, why don't I ask you if you would like to talk a little bit about the work that the Medical Student Alliance for Global Education has done in terms of building open education bricks.
Yes, sure, definitely. I'll just share my screen, if that's okay. So just a minute. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Or not? Okay. Okay. So as we talked about in the beginning, MeSAGE stands for Medical Student Alliance for Global Education. So MeSAGE works with different medical student organization networks in first of all in addressing gaps in the medical education curriculum, and then filling these gaps by producing medical education content from students for students with experts supervising or editing the bricks. So MeSAGE has so far published 6 collections in different fields, including digital health, diversity, equity, and inclusion, planetary health, sexual and reproductive health and rights, social accountability, and the new educator. And each one of these collections has broken down the topic into multiple bricks. For example, the digital health one has 12 bricks, the planetary has 14 bricks, and so on. So, for example, we can go and check one of them. And again, they're all open access and free to use by anyone who wishes. So let's start with the digital health collection. So digital health collection consists of 12 bricks. So each one of the bricks talks about a specific field within the digital health. For example, introduction, it talks about an overview of what is the digital health concept and what it includes, and so on, and then how it is working, how does digital health look like from a global perspective, then going into more specific fields like electronic health records, mobile health, precision medicine, advancements in digital health like artificial intelligence, data in healthcare, and so on. So it's a detailed curriculum that aims to be actually even it's sufficient enough to be even be studied at a university level as well. So this is what the platform looks like, and this is what the bricks look like. So, for example, if you go to electronic health record, we can see that the brick is made in an interactive way, so that you can, first of all, you have the option to listen to the brick, or you even have the option to have, like, case connections, figures, or even flashcards. So it's an interactive and more visualizing way of learning about the topics. That's a bit different than let's say PowerPoint slides or textbooks. So it kind of helps to interact more with the contents, and even to be able to assess your knowledge on the part that you learned about. So I'm not going to go into detail to talk about each one of the bricks. You can for sure explore it by yourself. But I'll talk about a few things. So MeSAGE also helped its partners to create their own collections and create their own educational content. So they can do this in a few ways. As Jeff talked about the Bricks Create. So Bricks Create is the platform that you could create your educational content from scratch. We have here an example from the American Medical Student Association, and they are a partner organization of MeSAGE. So they have been able to create their own collections. For example, they've just recently shared 3 collections like reproductive health, sexual health, and integrative medicine. So and they have, for each one of these, they have developed different bricks. So that talks about these topics, and they are all free of access as well. Since the platform is an open access, so anybody who creates any educational content is free of access, and they can even share it on the Brick Exchange. And so any of our partners, when they create these collections, they are visible in our database, so people could actually search for them and find them in the Exchange platform. So since they are from our partners. So this is one way you can make your own collection, and we have another way where, like, you can easily just like get one of the bricks that you think you can develop more on, or you want to make the content more relevant to your own setting, and you can clone it and like, this is more details, but you can clone it and you can adjust it however you want. So this is also one way we promote, or we help our partners to help in creating more open educational content. So as you can see here, I've cloned this topic, and I can edit anything that I want, and later it will be shared under my name as an author. So this is it from my side. Jeff, I will give it back to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mustafa. So actually what I want to do is I want to pick it up from, I'm going to pick it up from there. And again, if you anyone has any questions, please feel free to drop them into the chat, especially if there are any areas you want us to look at. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start just a couple of notes on the exchange, because the exchange is, for us a, a way for us to develop a community of practice, right? We want to be able to help educators and fellows and residents and students, that are looking to develop and share scholarship, and to do it in a way that is that's really focused on accessibility. So within the exchange, as Mustafa showed, I could come in here and I could just look for bricks regarding asthma, and I could see, any of the bricks that ScholarRx has created, but I could also look for, bricks that have been created, by the community. So, we've got, instructor at Rocky Vista, instructor at University of California, San Diego, um, instructor at Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine. So, again, these are, ways in which the educators and the members within our community are both contributing and in some cases, making adaptations, as Mustafa talked about. I'll show you a couple of examples. I've got some lists. For example, we showed some of the things from AMSA. Here's a project that was taken on at Emory University and focused on social determinants of health. And during this particular block, the students really went deep on particular topics that affected folks within their region. So Emory is based in Atlanta, Georgia. So a lot of the bricks that were built, focused on some of the issues there: homelessness in Atlanta, or closure of one of the main, medical centers, opioid use and community support systems in Georgia. And just to kind of open it up, just so you can kind of see what, the students here, they worked on this. They built out, case connections, helped provide context. You can see they included, some images in here. In some of the bricks that they developed, they also included videos. So here is a one on resources in Georgia. Um, how does Narcan work? So, and so again, just an example of students seeing a particular curriculum gap, and in this case a very more of a localized gap, but also seeing this as a way of building tools and building content that could be used not only by other students but also within the community. The URL for the every brick is something that can be shared. So in some cases they were seeing this as a way of providing patient education. Let's see. We have bricks that were have been developed by students in really kind of throughout the world. Here's one from a Universidad del Norte in Colombia, and in this group utilized our ability to present bricks in different languages. Right now we support, aside from English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Vietnamese. So they were able to take and build bricks and deliver them in Spanish, and then share those with with the students at that school. So this is a big piece, in terms of resource equity, that we see as being crucial, especially if we want to get more of this information out to to parts of the world that need it. And I apologize, I've got a dog that wants to participate in OE week. And then we also have a lot of students that are building bricks we talked yesterday. We had a session on the a set of neurology bricks that were being developed by educators at Johns Hopkins and Harvard. So they've been building bricks really for the clinical years, and all of these are free and open access. With the idea being, hey, what are the things that you're going to be seeing on the floor, or what you may be dealing with during the both the neurology clerkship or even within other rotations. So again, the main thing to note is that the user experience, the learning experience is very similar across the board, right? So as you're going through this, it looks like a brick, it acts like a brick, and the student is able to really work through all of these key modules in a way that is it's not overwhelming. They're not dealing with cognitive overload, and they're learning things that are very they make it as easy to ingest as possible. Okay, so that's a little bit about the exchange. So how do I get a brick? How do I publish a brick? Right. So we have an authoring platform called Bricks Create, and this is again, this is a free and open system, and all you have to do is set up a free account, and it's designed so that you don't have to be a tech genius. In fact, you really don't need any technical skills, at all, as long as you understand the basics of, word processing and linking. I think those are kind of the key things that you need. But again, as Mustafa showed, within here, I can come in and I can make changes to bricks. I can delete material. I can also come in, just kind of show you what some of the tools that are available for you. So I can create text blocks. I can create headers. Oops, I'll spell it correctly. Sorry, I've got that as a. So I can just highlight it and turn it into a header. I can come in and I can add bulleted lists, numbered lists. I can create tables. I can also take images and either add them from my computer, as I'll do here, or I could even just drag and drop it into the brick. We're also, key in trying to make this as vivid and as engaging as possible. So we have an image carousel. So if you wanted to have photos or illustrations that a user could sweep through, they could quickly put that together here. Okay. And you can also, add videos from YouTube or from Vimeo. So it's easy to put these together, and it's also easy to edit and style them. Now, one of the things that we've recently added is, let me just first show you that you can come in and add different types of assessments. So easy to come in here and create a flashcard, right? Or I could come in and add a question. And we've got different question types here. I could create a single multiple choice, a multi option multiple choice, open response questions. So, especially for health profession students, medical students, educators want to know, how are you thinking about this problem? How do you think through this situation? And we also just added the ability to do matching exercises. So lots of different ways that you can keep the user engaged throughout the brick. But one of the things we've just rolled out is the ability to use AI to develop some of these. So if you within our Bricks Create beta right now, if I hit /AI, I could create a question. And when I select the question, what the AI is doing is it is looking at the content that precedes this point in the brick, right? So it's not going outside of the brick to look for information. It's really trying to find, okay, from the last main header, what information should we be assessing? So you can see here that the AI comes up with a question: what factor significantly increases the impact of air pollution in low and middle income countries? Comes up with options, as well as the correct answer, and then provides an explanation. And the key thing for us is we always want to provide the explanation for why it's right, as well as why the incorrect options are wrong. And again, we are serious about AI safety, and we especially when you're creating bricks that deal with these types of topics. We would want the brick builder to ensure that it's right, and they can always make changes. They could say, what, I don't want this option in here, or I could provide more information within the explanation. So again, using the AI as it's a bit of more of a co-pilot, right? As something that can help, especially because sometimes building out questions, building out flashcards, can take time, doing that right. So sometimes having that, sort of serve as a kind of a spark or an inspiration can help make things a little bit easier. And then at the point at which you're ready, you can publish the brick, and you'll see that, hey, if there are any validation errors, it's going to say, so it's, so I've got an active learning question in here that needs attention. So it's this one here. So instead of fixing, I'm just going to publish it. So I'm going to say, it says all flashcards require a question and answer, but I'm going to just go ahead and publish it. Now at the point of publishing, I've got a couple of questions. I can either allow the brick to be listed, which means that it would be eligible potentially for the exchange, or in an unlisted state. So by default, we keep it unlisted. And then I can choose my license. So this particular brick was modified from a ScholarRx brick. So that license is inherited. However, if I go to one of our, I'm going to take one of our Creative Commons bricks, and if I made, let me just make a change here and publish this, you'd see that it uses the CC BY SA 4.0 license. So, and that's what is used for almost all of the free and open bricks within our system. You may have noticed that I do have another option here when I clone a brick. So if I wanted to take this cell membranes brick and clone it, but translate it into Spanish, I could do that. So, and this has been helpful for educators, especially as I said, we've been working with educators in Colombia, in Mexico, in Peru, so they can clone that brick in Spanish, and it will go through. Again, we certainly advise that that this cloning process involve a kind of a QA step to, that the folks are going in and either tailoring the information or just making sure that the translation is solid. But then they would be able to, again, publish that. And once they publish it, they get a URL and they could share that link with anyone. So I'll put this into the chat. Okay, you've been a very patient crowd. I know we've covered quite a bit here. So what I want to do is I want to pause, give you a chance to ask questions. You can either put your questions in the chat or come off mute and let us know what you're thinking. Very interested to know whether or not this, what interests you the most about the exchange or about the authoring platform. Any questions that you guys have? And Mustafa, if there's any item that I may have missed or skipped over, let me know if.
Thank you very much, Jeff. No, I think we've covered all of it. And like once you work with the BRICS Create and BRICS Exchange more, it's much more easier over time to understand all the concept.
Yeah, while we wait for questions, and again, feel free to just jump right in. We have worked to help the kind of remove some of the friction from the brick creation process. So when you're creating a new brick, we were showing what the cloning feature looks like. But if you want to create a brick, you can create it from scratch, and you could do it with using a blank template, and you can choose your language that you want for that brick. But here I could just start from scratch, and I could build this out. Or what we've done recently is we've given brick builders the ability to begin with a file. So in some cases, especially if you're working with a co-author, maybe you're working in Google Docs, maybe you're working in Word. So you can actually now upload a brick or a Word document. Let me see. I'm sorry, I didn't have this up here. So I have one on social determinants of health. So what I'm doing is I've selected the file that I want to convert. It has processed it, and now I can just create the brick. And you can see that it's got the title, and it was just a Word document, but it did have some images, and so the Bricks Create figures out what the image is. If it sees any any styling like headers or bullets, it can figure that out. It can do that with tables as well. So again, at this point, I have a lot of what I would need for this particular brick. So I could just then come in and I could add learning objectives at the beginning. And I can also, add the summary points and the review questions at the end. So again, really working to make it easy to get your brick to the level where it can be edited and published without as much trouble, right? Okay. Any other? Okay. Let's see. Vimbai, thank you for your note. You want to know how one can work with MeSAGE as a medical student? Mustafa, how can they connect?
Sure. So you'd always love to welcome medical students. So there are a couple of ways. So we either through the organization that we are partners with, or you could also directly work with us in some certain way. So, but to be updated about all of our opportunities, I suggest you to sign up to our newsletter, which I will write right here. So you can just go to our webpage, and it's the first thing where you'll be able to sign up to our newsletter, and then you can also follow us on Instagram, but that's where we are mostly active. So let me just fix that. So I would recommend you to stay updated and to with our platforms, and we will let you know if there was any opportunities where you could be a part of. So we are planning big things for the future to include more medical students. So don't miss it out.
Excellent. Thank you, Vinbai. But again, anyone with a free account can can sign up and begin building bricks and sharing them. We do have a vetting process in place so that the bricks that do make it onto the exchange, they do need to have gone through a review. But while you're building bricks, you can build and publish bricks and share that URL with friends and with students, and really anyone who can access that URL. It's just that for those that want to get their bricks on the exchange, we do require that it has been reviewed. Okay, well, with that, on behalf of Mustafa, we want to thank you for carving out some time for us today. We hope this was helpful. We hope you learned something, and we hope you get a chance to take a look at the bricks and hopefully play with Bricks Create, so you can see just how easy that is to use when building scholarly materials. Okay, thank you, everybody, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Have a good day, everyone.